Hey everybody, welcome back again to my astromech and my scrubber build. This will likely be the last scrubber video for a while. I've got the droid to the state that I'd planned, and now I need to get back to the R6 and some of my other projects. I'll be coming back to this thing soon though, because I still need to put a drive of some sort in it. By the end of this video, I'll be showing some beauty shots of this dirty beast, and I'll have some thoughts about this project as a whole. I also want to apologize once again for the delay in getting this video out. I got slowed down a bit by a special project that I've been working on. I'll talk more about that at the end of this video as well. I also had a hardware issue, which meant that I had to actually re-record all of this voiceover stuff. Okay, let's get going. I'm going to start by saying that I jumped around quite a bit during this build. You'll notice that some of the video is shot out of order, and that's because I moved from one aspect to the next depending on my mood at that particular time. Previously, I've shown how the main forms were made for the top of the droid. The other prominent features are the dish antenna, these sensors and warning lights up front, and these hoses running into the sides. I used wood screws to mount the top pieces with the intention of coming back and swapping them out for something fancier. But in the end, I decided to just cover them up with printed caps. These fittings really look to be pneumatic quick connects, so I had modeled holes in to accept 1/4 inch pipe thread for them. There's no indication in any of my reference that these sensors move. In fact, there's no real proof that they're even sensors, but then I don't know what else they would be. Anyway, I decided that mine were going to sweep back and forth. I designed them so the shaft of the sensor would pass through a plastic bushing, which itself would be bonded to the tub. This shaft has a horn on the lower end, which allows me to attach the two sensors to a single servo. I listed in an earlier video everything that I wanted to add for animation and movement to this thing. It was a single servo back and forth for the holo projector, the sensor sweep, and I believe that I mentioned moving the dish antenna as well. The holo was done with a servo and a spring return, and the sensors use a single linkage to join both to a single servo. I designed and printed servo mounts for each of these movements. There's an awful lot of black on black in the video of me installing these, so I'm not sure how well it'll come across here. The dish is handled a little bit differently. I'm driving the mast directly with a servo attached to the bottom. I made a hub which attaches to the servo through a servo horn. I'm really happy with the fit between the hub and the horn. If you listen, you can hear it snap into place.
Wow.
The hub has a hole which accepts a D shaft cut into the length of 6mm rod. This allows the servo to directly drive the dish. As you may have figured out, this dish is printed on a resin printer, and I used coat hanger wire for the centerpiece. The mounting arms are cut from aluminum and attach the dish to the metal shaft with 3mm screws. The next top details are these warning lights. These are made with printed lenses that I sanded and polished and then added a band of aluminum paint, and they're lit with 5mm LEDs. The last major feature would be these hoses. I made them from electrical conduit and printed end connectors. The connectors have a matching thread so they twist onto the conduit, and I used epoxy to add a number 10 mounting stud. The small amount of movement and lights are run off an Arduino Nano, which I'm powering with a small USB power bank. The Nano is mounted to a small perf board, and I included headers to allow me to plug the servos and the LEDs in. This is clipped to a mounting plate, which is screwed into the tub. I plan to have the system run separate from whatever drive I end up putting into the scrubber. The last detail before weathering is this aluminum accent running along the ridge. This is done with aluminum tape, which I laid on and then trimmed to size. Okay, I don't think I'm alone if I say that one of the most rewarding parts of building an object like this for me is the paint and weathering. Knowing what these scrubbers are built for, we can assume that they would get dirty. They're supposed to be found in hangars and are meant to be roaming around looking for fuel spills and such to clean up. This scrubber is going to look well used and dirty, but I tried to keep from going overboard and looking like it had just been abandoned. I'm using just a couple weathering techniques to get this look. There's some chip paint effects that I accomplished by using latex mask over aluminum before the final paint on some parts. I used dry brushing to highlight some edges that I think would see some wear, and then I used a set of washes that I make myself from inks. I'm using 3 colors of the washes, carbon black, then raw and burnt umber. With these, I also have 2 concentrations of each color. I use the black quite sparingly. It's a bit harsh, so I use it mostly in places where I really need some detail to pop or in a really dark recess. I rely mostly on the brown shades, and I like to move around the model and build it up in multiple layers. I think these three colors work great in this case to simulate the dirt and the grime that I would expect on a machine like this. As I wrap up this video, I want to talk a bit about this project so far. I started this as a way to take a short break from my R6 project, and I thought that once I got going, I was going to complete it to this point in about 2 weeks or so. It took a bit longer than I expected, but it was still a fairly quick project, and it really fulfilled what I was looking for at that time. I had a lot of fun with this one. Right now, I'm happy to leave it without a drive system in place. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do for that, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to get it moving around. The last thing I wanted to talk about is something that I teased at the beginning of this video when I said that I've been involved in another project that's been occupying a lot of my time. My local droid building group was approached by a couple filmmakers to help them out with an upcoming project. If you don't already know about it, Bucketheads is a Star Wars fan film produced by Transmute Pictures and released in 2018. It's a fantastic short that tells the story of an Imperial squad on a single mission. The film was really well received, and if you haven't seen it yet, you should probably do that right now. Really, you should just pause this, open a new tab, and watch it. I'll wait here. The makers have decided to continue the story in the form of a multi-episode series. They recently released a trailer for the series, which I'll link to below, and I think you really need to see that one as well. Anyhow, as a part of this new series, they needed a new droid, and they want something designed just for them, so they came to the BC droid builders to help them out. I'm working with a group of builders to supply what I think is going to be a pretty cool little droid for this story. I'm not going to say anything here right now about the design, but as we move through the process, I'll try to drop updates as I can. In the meantime, I'm going to link to everything below, and I urge you to at least visit their channel and see what's shaking over there. They've got some behind the scenes stuff there, and they've been doing live streams. You'll even notice that there's a show about droids there too. If you want to help make this new series a reality, please think about supporting them on Patreon as well. Okay, so that's going to be it for now. Like I said earlier, I'll be getting back to the R6 now as I work towards the finish line there. And until next time, remember, there is no try.